shy black waitress met deaf billionaire CEO's mom. What she did next left everyone shocked. The entire restaurant holds its breath. Alexander Castellano, billionaire, CEO, one of the most powerful men in Atlanta, just offered to save her dying grandmother with a single phone call. $150,000 in medical treatment. Gone. Just like that. Every server is watching. Every diner has stopped eating. Her manager Derek looks like he's watching a lottery winner. And Maya, the shy black waitress who's worked double shifts for 3 years, looks the billionaire in the eye and says one word: no. Subscribe now, because what happens next will change everything you think you know about power, pride, and what it really means to be seen. Before we reveal why she refused a billionaire's help, hit that subscribe button. Because stories like this, where the underdog doesn't play by the rules everyone expects, these are the stories that disappear if you don't. Make it known that you want more of them. Subscribe now and watch what happens when someone chooses dignity over desperation. But to understand why she said no, we need to go back 3 months. Maya Thompson moves silently through the Sterling Rows, unnoticed by wealthy diners. She's perfected the art of being invisible, head down, voice soft, existing only to serve. Her manager, Derek Sullivan, constantly criticizes her for being too quiet and lacking personality. Maya endures it all because she needs every dollar for her grandmother's medical bills. Tonight feels different, though. A distinguished older woman sits alone at table 12, and something about her stillness catches Maya's attention. Maya notices other servers struggling with the deaf woman, their frustration barely concealed. Mrs. Eleanor Castellano sits with quiet dignity, pointing at menu items while servers nod impatiently. Maya's hands tremble as she approaches. Drawing from her secret night classes, she signs, "Good evening. My name is Maya. May I help you?" Eleanor's eyes widen, not with surprise, but with relief. For the first time in weeks, Maya speaks without fear, but she doesn't speak at all. She signs, and Eleanor signs back. Finally, someone who sees me. 3 months pass. Every Thursday at 7 p.m., Eleanor requests Maya's section. Their conversations grow deeper about life, loss, dreams. Tonight, Eleanor leaves a $200 tip on a $60 meal with a note. For someone who truly listens. Maya's co-worker, Jennifer, sneers. Must be nice getting charity from rich old ladies who feel sorry for you. But Maya knows the truth. This isn't charity, it's friendship. She splits the tip with the kitchen staff anyway, as she always does. Eleanor watches from the parking lot, smiling. This girl is special. Maya's phone rings during her shift. Her grandmother has collapsed. She rushes to the hospital, still wearing her uniform, mascara running. The doctor's words blur. Stroke. Intensive care. Experimental treatment. $150,000. Maya's world shatters. She has $3,000 saved. She works double shifts. She studies every free moment. And it's still not enough. Should never be enough. As she sits in the sterile waiting room, her phone buzzes a text from Eleanor. "You missed our Thursday. Are you okay?" Maya doesn't respond. How can she burden her only friend with this? Eleanor sits at table 12, worried. Maya hasn't responded in 5 days. She asks Derek, "Where's Maya?" He shrugs dismissively, called out. Family emergency. Probably quit. These people never last. The casual cruelty in his voice makes Eleanor's blood boil. She writes a note and hands it to Derek. When she returns, give her this. Tell her Eleanor needs to see her. Derek tosses it on the back desk and forgets about it. Eleanor doesn't know that Maya is sleeping in hospital chairs, making impossible decisions and drowning in despair. 2 weeks later, Maya returns to work, exhausted. Her grandmother is stable, but needs the expensive treatment within 30 days or the damage becomes permanent. Derek immediately berates her. 2 weeks? No call, no show? You're lucky, I'm giving you another chance. Maya nods silently, tears threatening. She can't lose this job. She moves through her shift like a ghost. Eleanor isn't there, it's Wednesday. Maya finds Eleanor's note buried under schedules on the back desk. You're not alone. Eleanor. Maya breaks down in the walk-in freezer, sobbing into her apron. She's already lost so much. She can't lose Eleanor too. Against hospital rules and her doctor's orders, Eleanor sneaks out Thursday evening. She needs to know Maya is safe. Her son Alexander has been suffocating her with concern since her mild stroke 2 weeks ago. Full-time nurses, restricted activities, constant monitoring. But tonight she slips past her nurse and takes a cab to the Sterling Rose. She needs to see Maya. She needs to feel independent again. As she enters the restaurant, her phone buzzes incessantly. Alexander is tracking her location. The hunt has begun. Maya sees Eleanor at table 12 and rushes over, relief flooding through her. "I'm so sorry," she signs frantically. "My grandmother, hospital." "I should have messaged," Eleanor takes Maya's trembling hands and signs slowly. "Breathe. Tell me everything." For the first time in 2 weeks, Maya feels seen. She pours out the whole story, the stroke, the cost, the impossible deadline, her crushing fear. Eleanor's expression shifts from concern to determination. She signs, "I'm going to help you." Maya shakes her head violently. "No, I can't accept money. Please, your friendship is enough." Eleanor smiles sadly. "My dear girl, you don't understand yet." But their perfect Thursday was about to be interrupted. The restaurant doors burst open. Alexander Castellano strides in, flanked by 2 security guards, his face dark with worry and anger. Every head turns, diners whisper, servers freeze. Derek nearly trips over himself to approach. "Mr. Castellano." "Sir, what an honor." Alexander ignores him, scanning the room until he spots his mother. At Maya's table, an animated conversation with some waitress. His jaw clenches. "Mother." His voice cuts through the restaurant. Eleanor looks up, and her expression transforms from joy to frustration in an instant. Maya shrinks back, confused and terrified. Who is this man? Alexander approaches the table, his eyes fixed on Maya with suspicion. "Mother, we need to leave, now." Eleanor's hands fly in sharp, angry signs. "I'm having dinner with my friend." "Stop treating me like a child." Alexander barely glances at Maya before responding in sign language. "Your friend? You've been sneaking out to see a waitress? How much has she taken from you?" Maya's face burns with humiliation. The restaurant has gone silent, everyone watching. Derek appears, obsequious and eager. "Mr. Castellano, I apologize for any inconvenience. This employee will be disciplined." Maya finds her voice, small but steady. "I haven't taken anything." Eleanor stands abruptly, her chair scraping loudly. Her hands move with fierce precision as she signs to her son, her face contorted with disappointment. "For 42 years, I raised you to see people's hearts, not their bank accounts. This woman has shown me more genuine kindness than anyone in your world of board, meetings and contracts. She learned sign language on her own time. She treats me like a person, not a burden. And you walk in here and accuse her of theft?" Alexander falters. "Mother, I'm just protecting you." "From what? From feeling human? From having a friend?" The entire restaurant watches a billionaire being dressed down by his deaf mother in complete silence. Alexander turns to Maya, his expression softer but still guarded. "If you're truly her friend, prove it. What's her favorite meal? What does she order every week?" Maya's shyness nearly paralyzes her, but Eleanor's trusting eyes give her strength. She doesn't order the same thing twice. She orders what reminds her of places she visited with her late husband. "Last week, the Boulia base Marseille, 1998, your father proposed a second time as a joke. 3 weeks ago, the Ossobuco Milan, 2010, your anniversary trip before he got sick." The restaurant gasps. Alexander stares, stunned. Derek's mouth hangs open. "How?" Maya signs to Eleanor. "You told me your stories. I remembered." Alexander slowly sits down, his armor cracking. "You remember her stories?" Maya nods, still terrified but standing her ground. "Every Thursday for 3 months. She taught me about grief, about staying strong, about finding joy in small moments. She never told me her last name. I didn't know who she was. I just knew she was Eleanor. And she was kind to me when no one else was." Alexander looks at his mother, really looks, and sees the happiness in her eyes. The same light that disappeared when his father died 5 years ago. His voice cracks. "Mother, I'm sorry. I can't lose you too." Eleanor touches her son's face tenderly, and turns to Maya and signs. "Now, tell him about your grandmother." Maya hesitates, but Eleanor's encouraging nod pushes her forward. She explains the stroke, the treatment, the impossible cost, her double shifts and night classes. I'm studying to be a speech therapist, specializing in nonverbal communication. Your mother has been my greatest teacher. Alexander listens, his business mind already calculating, but something stops him, the memory of his mother's words. Not everything is solved with money, he asks carefully. What's the treatment? Maya names it. Alexander's eyes widen in recognition. That's one of my company's technologies. Castellano Tech developed that neural pathway. Restoration therapy. The puzzle pieces click together for Maya Castellano. The deaf woman she befriended is that Castellano's mother. I can make a call, Alexander says immediately. We'll have your grandmother in the trial program tomorrow. No. Maya's voice is quiet but firm. Every eye in the restaurant turns back to their table. Did the waitress just refuse a billionaire's help? Alexander blinks, confused. No. Maya's hands shake, but her eyes are clear. I can't accept that. I didn't befriend your mother for access to you. I didn't know who she was. If you help me now, it taints everything. It makes me look like exactly what you accused me of being. Eleanor beams with pride. Alexander leans back, reassessing this shy waitress who just rejected $150,000 in medical care on principle. Then what do you want? And that's when Alexander made his offer. Now you know why everyone expected her to say yes. But Maya had a different plan. If you're watching this thinking, I would have taken the money, you're not alone. 47% of people who saw this story said the same thing in the comments. But that's exactly why Maya's story matters. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to be saved. If you believe that truth, smash that like button. And if you've made it this far, you're part of the 12% who actually understand how Maya actually feels. Comment dignity. If you're still here, let's make it known that real stories deserve real recognition. Maya takes a deep breath, her southern grandmother's voice in her head. Baby, don't ever be afraid to ask for what you earned. A job at Castellano Tech in your Communication Accessibility Division. I have my associate degree, I'm working on my bachelor's in speech pathology, and I have 3 months of real-world experience communicating with someone who's deaf. Hire me, pay me fairly. I'll work every hour I can and pay for my grandmother's treatment myself. It might take me years, but I'll do it with dignity. The restaurant erupts in whispers. Derek looks apoplectic. Alexander stares at this woman who just turned charity into negotiation. Slowly a smile crosses his face. You're hired, but on one condition. You have dinner with us. Right now. Not as a waitress. As my mother's friend and my new employee. Alexander signals to Derek, whose face has gone pale. This woman is no longer your employee. She's mine. Bring us 3 meals, whatever the chef recommends. And bring a chair, Derek stammers. Sir, employees aren't allowed to... Did I stutter? Alexander's voice drops to ice. Derek scurries away. Maya stands frozen as Alexander pulls out a chair for her. Please, sit. Let's start over. I'm Alexander, and I apologize for being an ass. Eleanor laughs silently, her shoulders shaking with joy. Maya sits overwhelmed as other diners begin to applaud. Jennifer watches from across the restaurant, her earlier cruelty echoing in her mind. Over pan-seared salmon and roasted vegetables, 3 unlikely people discover connection. Alexander asks about Maya's coursework, impressed by her understanding of neurolinguistics and assistive communication technology. Maya asks about Castellano Tech's development process, her questions sharp and insightful. Eleanor watches her son and her friend bond over shared passion for breaking communication barriers. For the first time since his father's death, Alexander talks about something other than profit margins and market shares. He talks about purpose. Maya sees past the billionaire to the man who learned sign language in infancy to talk to his mother. As dessert arrives, Alexander makes a call. Dr. Peterson? Alexander Castellano. I need a favor. By the time creme brulee is served, Maya's grandmother is enrolled in the trial program not as charity, but as a legitimate candidate whose case fits the study parameters. Maya will pay on a salary-based sliding scale over time. You'll start Monday, Alexander says. Salary is $72,000 annually, plus benefits and tuition reimbursement for your bachelor's degree. Your first assignment is to interview my mother about her experiences with communication technology and write a report on what we're doing wrong. Eleanor signs to Maya. Be honest, especially about what they're doing wrong. Maya laughs for the first time in weeks. Then she remembers. I need to give Derek my 2 weeks' notice. Already done, Alexander says. I bought him out of your contract. You're free. News spreads through the Sterling Rose like wildfire. The shy black waitress just had dinner with Alexander Castellano. As equals, Derek tries to save face. I always knew Maya had potential. I was mentoring her. Jennifer cuts him off. You called her worthless yesterday. Other servers crowd around Maya as she changes out of her uniform for the last time. Some congratulate her genuinely. Others, like Jennifer, whisper about lucky breaks and using people. Maya ignores them, carefully folding her apron. She thinks about Eleanor's words from months ago. The people who truly see you will change your life. Everyone else is just noise. As she walks out of the Sterling Rose, Eleanor and Alexander wait in a town car. Ready? Alexander asks. Maya nods. Ready. Monday morning. Maya stands in the gleaming lobby of Castellano Tech headquarters, overwhelmed. The building is all glass and steel, filled with people in expensive suits, speaking in confident voices. Her thrift store blazer suddenly feels inadequate. But then Eleanor appears, dressed elegantly, carrying 2 coffees. She signs, I'm consulting today. Thought you could use a friendly face. Together, they ride the elevator to the 10th floor. Alexander meets them, all business now, and introduces Maya to her team 12 people working on communication accessibility. Maya will be conducting user experience, interviews and reporting directly to me on where our technology fails real people, he announces. The team exchanges skeptical glances. This waitress is going to critique their work? Alexander slowly sits down, his armor cracking. You remember her stories? Maya nods, still terrified but standing her ground. Every Thursday for 3 months. She taught me about grief, about staying strong, about finding joy in small moments. She never told me her last name. I didn't know who she was. I just knew she was Eleanor. And she was kind to me when no one else was. Alexander looks at his mother, really looks, and sees the happiness in her eyes. The same light that disappeared when his father died 5 years ago. His voice cracks. Mother, I'm sorry. I can't lose you too. Eleanor touches her son's face tenderly, then turns to Maya and signs. Now, tell him about your grandmother. Maya hesitates, but Eleanor's encouraging nod pushes her forward. She explains the stroke, the treatment, the impossible cost, her double shifts and night classes. I'm studying to be a speech therapist, specializing in nonverbal communication. Your mother has been my greatest teacher. Alexander listens, his business mind already calculating, but something stops him the memory of his mother's words. Not everything is solved with money, he asks carefully. What's the treatment? Maya names it. Alexander's eyes widen in recognition. That's one of my company's technologies. Castellano Tech developed that neural pathway. Restoration therapy. The puzzle pieces click together for Maya Castellano. The deaf woman she befriended is that Castellano's mother. I can make a call, Alexander says immediately. We'll have your grandmother in the trial program tomorrow. No. Maya's voice is quiet but firm. Every eye in the restaurant turns back to their table. Did the waitress just refuse a billionaire's help? Alexander blinks, confused. No. Maya's hands shake, but her eyes are clear. I can't accept that. I didn't befriend your mother for access to you. I didn't know who she was. If you help me now, it taints everything. It makes me look like exactly what you accused me of being. Eleanor beams with pride. Alexander leans back, reassessing this shy waitress who just rejected $150,000 in medical care on principle. Then what do you want? And that's when Alexander made his offer. Now you know why everyone expected her to say yes. But Maya had a different plan. If you're watching this thinking, I would have taken the money, you're not alone. 47% of people who saw this story said the same thing in the comments. But that's exactly why Maya's story matters. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to be saved. If you believe that truth, smash that like button. And if you've made it this far, you're part of the 12% who actually understand how Maya actually feels. Comment dignity. If you're still here, let's make it known that real stories deserve real recognition. The conference room falls silent as Eleanor's accusation hangs in the air. Alexander turns to Maya. Is this true? Every eye is on her board members, investors, her team. The old Maya would shrink away, apologize, let it go. But the new Maya, forged by months of finding her voice, stands. Yes, but I'm not here to fight about credit. She walks to the presentation screen and pulls up her original files, time-stamped and documented. Dr. Thornton, you can have the credit for this project. Because I'm proposing something bigger. She unveils 6 months of secret work, a comprehensive framework for human-centered disability technology, based on Eleanor's feedback and 50 interviews Maya conducted with deaf individuals in the Atlanta community on her own time. I'm proposing we create an entire division dedicated to lived experience consulting. Hire people with disabilities, not as test subjects but as lead designers. Pay them as experts. Because they are. The room erupts, some in applause, some in shock. Alexander looks at his mother, who's beaming with pride, then back at Maya. That's the most expensive proposition anyone's ever made in this building. Maya meets his eyes, no longer shy, no longer invisible. That's because it's the right one. And I learned from Eleanor that doing right is always worth the cost. Alexander laughs, a genuine, delighted sound. You're absolutely correct. The board will approve it. And you'll run it. He turns to Dr. Thornton. You're fired. Effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Then Alexander does something that shocks the entire room. He signs to Maya, in front of everyone. Thank you for teaching me what my mother tried to teach me my whole life, that power isn't about who has the most money. It's about who uses their voice to change things. You were never the quiet waitress who needed saving. You were always the leader who was waiting for someone to listen. Maya signs back, tears streaming down her face. And you both taught me that being seen isn't about being loud. It's about being authentic. Eleanor embraces Maya as the room applauds. Maya went from invisible to irreplaceable. But here's what most people miss. She didn't change who she was. She just found people who could finally see her. If this story hit you differently than the usual billionaire saves poor girl narrative, that's because it's based on something real. The power of being authentically you in a world that profits from your silence. 1 year later, Maya's grandmother fully recovers. The new lived experience division at Castellano Tech has transformed the industry. Maya finishes her bachelor's degree funded by Castellano Tech and is pursuing her master's. Eleanor and Maya still have Thursday dinners, now at Maya's apartment, where they cook together and sign their way through conversations about life, love, and legacy. And Alexander? He learned that sometimes the most valuable investment isn't in technology, it's in people who remind you why the technology matters in the first place. In a world that profits from your invisibility, being seen is a revolutionary act. But being heard, that changes everything. Here's my promise. If you subscribe, I'll keep bringing you stories where the hero doesn't wait to be rescued. Where power isn't just about money. Where being seen matters more than being rich. Hit subscribe if you want more stories that break the mold. Because Maya's story isn't over, and neither is yours.